Well, it's kind of a cool, chilly day today. And I've got a new project. I've been needing a gooseneck hitch for my truck, and as you probably know, I've got the PullRite Superglide fifth wheel hitch, and it mounts in the truck on these little pins right here. These 4 pins. It's got special rails, and Superglide does make it. They do make a fifth wheel plate, but you have to take the cross rails off of the. You either have to take the cross rails off the fifth wheel, or you have to order a new set of cross rails. The fifth wheel plate itself is, last I checked, right around $300. Seems rather expensive. So I've got me a 20-foot stick, 2.5-inch tubing. I'm going to build one. I got to take some measurements. I got to get some measurements for the holes and some rough measurements of lengths. And I'm just going to build it in place here. I've got my pins in, and let's see how it goes. So here's my fifth wheel hitch, and these are those cross rails that I was talking about. And I want to leave them on this hitch. I don't want to take them off. I don't want to have to buy a new set in addition to a $300 gooseneck plate. So this is 2.5-inch square. I've already measured it, and it's 1/4-inch wall. That's what I've got a 20-foot stick of. What I need is a measurement on this hole. This is the one that slides down over the pin in the bed, and this cross hole up here where the cross pin goes through the tube, through the pin, holds it in the bed. It's got a hitch pin that holds it in. So got my trusty El Cheapo calipers here. So we're just going to get a measurement. Looks like it's basically a 1-inch hole. Okay. This top hole. It's going to be a little over a 1/2 inch. So those are the first measurements I need. Now I need to grab me a tape measure and get some measurements out of the bed. Okay. So I need 2 measurements out of the bed. I need the distance between these back 2 pins and the distance between these front 2 pins. And those distances are different. The back pins are closer together than the front 2 pins. The front to back difference, I will measure that after I get the 2 cross rails built and laid in on these pins. But for now, I just want to get a pin to pin distance here. So that is 3 feet 1/4 inch. And the back one here, and these are center to center distances. That is 42 1/4. Nope, 42 1/8. 42 1/8. Let me check this back one again. Yeah, that's going to be, 3 feet 1/4 and 42 1/8. Measure twice, cut once, right? Yep, 42 1/8. So I need to go get my stick, and so that's center to center distances on those holes. So I need to add at least 1.5 inches on each end. So I need to add 3 inches total to both lengths. So 45 1/8, 45 1/8, and 38 1/4. All right. So let me go grab my stick, get those pieces cut, and then we'll lay out the holes and drill them. So if you were paying attention, you'll notice I cut them a little bit longer than I said I was going to. I cut the short one 40 inches. I cut the long one 46 inches. And I have laid out the positioning for the big holes, the 1-inch holes. And I'm kind of glad I did cut them a little bit longer. I figured I could always shorten them up, but you can't really stretch them out. And I don't think I'm going to need to shorten them up. I think that's going to be just about right. I got these marked with a scratch awl, just for precision, as precise as you can get with a tape measure and a scratch awl. I got, I don't know if you can see it on camera, one here. I got my center line established on each one, and here, here, and down there. So I'm just going to center punch those guys, take them over to the drill press, and drill them out to 1 inch. And then what I need to do is take the square, run these center lines for the holes around to this face on each one to drill that 1/2 inch cross hole, because that 1/2 inch cross hole has to be centered with the 1 inch main hole. So we'll get that done, and you're not going to get any video of that because I can't work the drill press with one hand, but you'll see the results after it's done. So think back to when I was measuring these pins. Did you catch my mistake? Because I didn't until right now. Oops. When I measured these pins, I measured from outside to outside instead of from outside to inside. So my holes are 1 inch too far apart, I think. So I've remeasured. This short piece, I was going to have to cut up a piece for some braces anyway, so it's not wasted. The long piece there will actually be able to make this short piece for me. I'll just have to cut another long piece there and make sure I put the holes in the right place this time. And before I drill anything this time, I'm going to bring it out here and set it up against these pins and make sure it looks right before I drill it. Should have done that last time. But hey, you know, mistakes happen, and I don't want anybody to think I'm perfect. Lord knows I'm not. There's proof laying right there in the bed of my truck. So let me go back and regroup and try this all again. Alright, so there's that. Just a little bit of information for you. Those holes are not 1 inch, and those holes are not 1/2 inch. There's something metric and stupid like 26 millimeter and 14 millimeter or something like that. My metric drill is a standard drill with a die grinder, but got it to fit. Now I have to cut cross members. And one thing I have noticed is, you see right there, that little dot? That's where Ford wants you to center drill to put a ball in this truck. That's too close to my front bar. My ball's going to have to go back about 2 inches, but I don't think that'll hurt anything. It's going to be still really close to the axle, and I'm not going to be hauling 18,000 pound bulldozers or anything with this truck. I just want to be able to haul the backhoe ever so often if I need to, and haul a load of wood. I got a new deck to build here shortly. So now 18 and crap, I don't remember. $18 and 5/8. So let me go cut those. All right, so I got my main bars in there. I got my cross pieces cut. I've got my plate cut, and I got some diagonal supports that'll go in each of these 4 corners here. Got them all cut. All I got to do now is weld it up, and I thought about welding it in place, but I'm actually a little bit concerned about welding with this attached to the truck, because I'm not sure what that'll do with the computers on this truck. I don't want to take a chance of blowing the computers. So what I'm going to do, get these crossbars positioned, get me a couple of bar clamps, clamp them, pull this thing out, take it over there closer to the shop and weld it there. So let me get that done. Well, I got my cross pieces and my braces welded in. And as soon as those welds cool off, I have to take the thing back over to the truck, make sure it goes back down on the pins. I'm almost 100% certain it won't. Metal tends to draw and stuff when you weld on it. So I'm sure my holes don't line up anymore. But I do have a die grinder with a pretty awesome bit. So I don't think they've drawn too much, but I know they've probably drawn enough that it won't just slide right back like it's supposed to. But as soon as I get this guy fit back in here, I'm going to have to weld that guy in there. That is a 6" by 1" steel plate. And before I can weld that in, I have to locate the hole for the ball and blowtorch a hole in it, because we don't have a drill bit that big. So while the frame's cooling off, I'm gonna locate the hole here, get started. I'll start the hole with the drill press up to about, I don't know, maybe 1 inch, and then probably 1/2 inch. But then trace out the shank of the ball and blowtorched a hole in it. So yeah, my mountain holes wound up being way off, but here's why. Remember when I told you that that metal would bow when it was welded on? Look at the bend in that metal. That's a 1/4 inch wall, 2.5 inch steel tube. And it's probably bent 3/8 of an inch or more out of straight across that, what, 3.5 foot length, 4 foot length. Yeah, if I had to do this over again, I'd probably just build this structure first and then put it up and measure out and figure out a way to drill the holes. I had to wall them out with some of them with the, I had to get some of them with the torch just to get them to fit. My cross pin holes, I had to elongate them. It still fits in there good and tight. The pins hold, so I'm not too worried about it. It's just aggravating for everything to bend after you spend so much time laying it out perfectly. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be that bad. I mean, that's... Alright, there it is. All I got left now is slap a coat of paint on it and get me a new ball. This was just a junk one we had laying around. It's got a couple, oh, that's still hot. It's got a couple cracks in it. So I'm not going to be using that one. I got to get me a new one, but I had that one here to test with. So that's it. And I kind of feel like I need to end with a disclaimer. I'm not an engineer. I'm an idiot with a welder. Don't do anything that I do and expect that it's going to be good enough to not fail. All right? I'm confident in what I did, but I'm not confident if you do what I did. Just, I mean, you can look at this and tell it's pretty heavy duty, but still, I'm not an engineer. Don't ask me if this is going to conform to any sort of standard. It's not, okay? I made this at a home shop with a welder and a bandsaw and a blowtorch. So, there's my disclaimer. If you copy this and roll your gooseneck trailer down the interstate, not my fault, all right? Just like if I roll my gooseneck trailer down the interstate, it is my fault. But that's my video on building a custom gooseneck mount for my Superglide mounting kit. And again, I like this for the same reason I like the Superglide fifth wheel. I take it out, I twist one of each of those 4 pins, they come out, I've got nothing in the bed. It's a flat bed, there's no rails in there all the time. I like it a lot better. And now I can pull a gooseneck. Woohoo! Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye. I ain't the only one that builds stuff. My dad built that blower this year to help pick up the pecans. It's got a 36-inch fan that's 18 inches wide. And that 40-20 won't turn the thing wide open. He's basically idling right now. That's a pretty badass fan right there.